But you have to promise me that when you do this, you don't do anything wrong, right?
Okay.
So in this case, we're going to let you off to step up to the red line there, so we're not impacting that operation. This aircraft is a Boeing 777-300. When Air Canada flies it, it's the largest in their fleet. And when the plane arrives on the gate, the passengers get off, the luggage gets offloaded, and if it's going back out in a couple of hours, they'll reload it, they'll put the fuel in the catering, and they'll deal with all that. But if it's not going out for 6 or 8 hours, we don't want to fill up the prime space on the gates. Because the more planes we can get through, the more money we can make to pay back that $5.5 billion debt. So instead, we make the airline tow it away. Oh. Is that me at home? Oh, okay. He was just saying hi to me. Well, sometimes they'll pull us over, but that's more to scare Ryan than anything else. Because I know Ryan's a good driver, he doesn't do anything wrong. But, so essentially what we would do is we'd make the airline tow their airplane, and they'd park it over here, and then they'd do the servicing, the cleaning, they can fuel it up, and then they'll tow it back onto the gate when it's time to load it up with passengers and baggage. So this one is one of those examples. It's not flying out till later today. On the area to your right, behind this fence, is where we're going to build the next pier of Terminal 1. It's going to cost us $500 million. The idea is that we don't want to have to bus passengers to and from aircraft. So as we grow, we can build more aircraft into this operation by building a new pier on there. So why don't we go to your right?
Keep on. Yeah. Make sure there's stake being known.
Alright, so now we're on the active apron. As you can see, this regional jet is sitting there. What that regional jet is doing is probably, it looks like he's waiting to come in to his gate. I'm not sure what's happening. Actually, oh, okay, so that truck, I think he's pushed off the gate and he's got a mechanical problem. The truck that just drove up to him is going to talk to the pilot and say, you know, are you okay to go or whatever. So sometimes a pilot will get a red light or something that comes on, he has to resolve it. This is a really cool tractor here. Brian, can you stop and watch the push? Thanks. So what you've seen is this tractor has pushed the aircraft off the gate. The ground crew work for Air Canada. The pilots do not. They're working for a company that they've hired called Sky Regional. And then they put the express name on it so that Air Canada passengers think it's Air Canada. But basically it's all one big organization anyway. So these guys are driving the tractor to push the aircraft back. And then one of them is talking to the pilot on a microphone. The pilot is talking to the apron tower up there. He gets his permission to push and go. Now this is called an Embraer 175. It seats about 75 passengers. Really nice, comfortable plane. It's 2 and 2 seating, just like this bus. Just picture it with a flight attendant instead of me, okay? Very comfortable way to travel. I'm going to point out the diameter of that plane again in a few minutes. So just keep in mind the size of that tube that the people are sitting in, and I'll refer to that again. I personally love these planes, but Air Canada is getting rid of them. They think that they're too maintenance heavy, so I don't know. All right, thank you, Ryan. So as we're driving around this section of the airport, this is the flights to the United States. Every person here has cleared U.S. Customs before they got on an aircraft. When they arrive on these gates, they have to go to Canada Customs. Straight ahead of us, we're going to have the area where they would be going to international destinations. So they don't have to clear U.S. Customs, but they're not going to mix with people who are going to the United States. We've got doors inside that will stop them from mixing. And we can switch the gates back and forth. So this gate could be used for an international flight, or if you open the door correctly, you can use it for transporter. You just can't mix them. So we have, each terminal has 3 sectors: domestic, transporter, and international. It's almost like running 6 different buildings. So what you're going to see in a moment as we go around the corner is the baggage system. I want to talk a little bit about that. Even though I know you're really excited for the airplane, don't worry. You're going to see lots of that stuff, okay? But I want to highlight to you that this is where the airlines lose your luggage. Now really, to be fair, I should tell you, we as the airport operator have never lost your luggage because we don't handle your luggage. The airlines handle it. What we do is we give them the tools to do that. So they have conveyor belts that they check you in at. We can tell what time the bag was checked in. And yeah, pull up here. We can tell you what time the bag was checked in. It goes through an x-ray. We know what time that happened. If it got stopped somewhere, if someone pulled it out a few times, but you have to promise me that when you do this, you don't do anything wrong, right?
Okay.
So in this case, we're going to let you off to step up to the red line there, so we're not impacting that operation. This aircraft is a Boeing 777-300. When Air Canada flies it, it's the largest in their fleet.
Towards us. Across the field is your airshow planes. You might be able to see pictures.
Oh, I see it.
Yellow truck? Oh, yeah. Well, that's your airshow planes over there. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Give me.
No, did you say that goes on the ground? Because
Look at the snow has a red Billy Bishop.
exactly. And if you notice that on the field, you just make a little bit closer and you see the other end. Okay, I see. They are calling. Come.
And we'll get up close to one of these in a minute, but it's basically the engines are much different, much quieter. And this airplane, you don't pull down the window shades, you push a button and it goes dark. But this Boeing 777 is just like the Egypt Air one. It's also getting ready to go off to Asia somewhere. And what they're doing there is they've got the caterer just getting ready to hook up. They're loading the containers on, the fuel. The crew are already probably on board doing their checks and getting ready for it. And there's a mechanical vehicle there. Also looks like he's checking something out underneath the plane. So this is the shorter version of that same plane. This is called the Boeing 777-200. This only seats 280 people. It's a smaller plane. And then we're going to come around to the Ethiopian Airlines and let you take a photo there, same as we just did. Just depends how active they are right now getting ready to depart. They depart a little bit sooner. There we go, everybody. The blonde guy's smiling. He likes to get the cameras. So this is the Terminal 1 International Departures area above us. And as you know now, the baggage is below. The catering and all that is taking place off-site and brought onto the field. And the staff that are working in the terminal, we call them above the wing. The staff working out here on the ramp, or the apron, they're called below the wing staff. So we're going to pull up on the other side of the Queen of Sheba here, and you can take some photos of this. The Dreamliner, you look at the engine, the wings, I should say. They're sticking out.
Yeah.
Also, just, if you take a look just above the roof of the terminal, see that big plane out there up in the sky?
Oh, yeah.
So that's an Air Canada Boeing 777. That's on what we call the downwind. So he is presently talking to the arrival controller, just above the roof, just this period. He's talking to the arrival controller. jets, the corporate jets. My jet, I leave it over there. I use it. I only use it during the week. Busy working on the weekends. So as we're going around, I'll point some more stuff out on the far side of the field. And I think you heard that the bridge came off of that Ethiopian. That was the ringing bells. That's saying the bridge is moving. So it's just they're just loading the last of the bags, and then it'll push. So we want to try to get back to watch the pushback of the aircraft and see if we can see something else happening as well. So right now, here's the test. Remember I told you there's a test? Right. The aircraft coming up on our left-hand side here, the little regional jet, it's about to come on to this apron here. Who's the pilot presently talking to? And the air traffic controller, yes. Or you can see he's talking to the pilot on his right. I mean, the two of them together. Technically though, he'd be talking to the ground controller on that apron, on that taxi wing, and then they'll hand him off to the apron tower controller there. Just a trick question. Okay, I'll let you off the bus anyways. Okay. Alright, so this straight ahead of us is the central de-icing facility. It's the world's largest de-icing facility. Last year we de-iced 15,000 aircraft, and we will probably have to, we're going to be building a new facility as well, because when it gets bad weather, you know, we don't want to delay people. But to give you an idea of the costs, each of the yellow trucks, you won't see them right, you can see them off in the distance, but each of the yellow trucks seats about, houses about $5,000 worth of fluid. And when the Emirates Airbus A380 leaves here in the winter, they use 6 of those trucks. Wow. Yeah, a lot. Well, we're just going to sit here for a second so I can talk a little. The guy sort of off to the side of the aircraft, when he sees all the other guys gone, he'll get a wave off to the pilot. In Japan, they do it, they bow. They say, okay, you're ready to go. If you watch the ground crew doing that. Now you've got a big 300 or 458 passenger plane coming in from Frankfurt. A whole bunch of Canadians coming home, or a whole bunch of foreigners coming to spend money. We like that. We don't see so much of it ourselves, but the airline just paid us about $12,000 to land the airplane, so that's good. So those engines are each worth about $50 million. Now if you watch straight ahead, you might see the marshalling crew going like this with the aircraft. Yeah, there he is. See there. Yeah.
Ethiopian 503, but that Ethiopian 503 Heavy holds short of Alpha Mike, ground is 121.9 behind the 777 unit. Butter the left on Mike. On 121, need one and up to 5.
There you go, that's the Ethiopian now calling. And basically he said after this aircraft, just continue out to here. Hold short of this point called Alpha Mike, which is just a marking on the airfield, and then call the ground control. If he had other aircraft coming towards him, he might say, stay with me for a little bit, and I'll hand you off in a minute. So even though there's only the 2 planes moving on this apron at the moment, they're both moving exactly the same time. And if that hadn't been coordinated well, we could have had a bit of a bottleneck. Yeah. Boeing 787 is also unique, not just for those engines and how quiet they are. Haven't yet finished loading. It's not going out until about another hour and a half or so. But again, I'll ask you to just step right.
this button. One second. Just stop it. Wow. That is the FOD, right?
Huh?
Foreign object debris?
He just hit a taxiway light.
Oh.
It's probably
$787 Dreamliner.
I think they are ready. Asif, they are ready now.
That is formation flight.